morning, folks, and welcome to the legendary Estoril circuit in Portugal, outside Lisbon, where I have been invited, thanks to my Road and Track business card. I wrote a story as well, the link's in the description, to drive the all-new, well, mostly new, Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. This is the end of the line for the Aventador, as crazy as it will get. And the SVJ, and J stands for Jota, focuses on a couple things. Power. It now has 770 horsepower, and I can't remember the torque number, but it's a lot. It has more torque than the SV everywhere, and they did it the old school way. It has a lighter flywheel, a lighter rotating assembly. It has new cams, titanium valve springs, a new lighter exhaust, an intake manifold with longer runners, 770 horsepower, and it revs. Then there's the weight. It weighs the same as the SV, but it has ALA active aero and rear steer. So they cut a bunch of weight with carbon doors, carbon seats, special materials all over the place in order to compensate for the extra weight of the rear steer and the ALA system. So it's about the same. It's 3,900 pounds curb weight. Lamborghini will tell you 3,350 dry weight, but the curb weight is what matters. It's got a lot of fluids in this thing. Then the aerodynamics, right? The body's been revised for more cooling into the side radiators, but the big one is the ALA system. It's active aerodynamics, and basically how that works is there's a set of flaps in the front splitter, which is substantial, and there's a set of flaps under the engine compartment, which you can kind of see right in front of that center stanchion of the big wing, right? And what those flaps do, it's so old school and awesome, is they open or close, directing air either into the wing, yes, inside of that wing, or around and over the wing. And it can selectively direct air into the wing to stall that wing for less drag, or around the wing for more downforce. And it can do that without moving the wing at all. But here's the real party trick. It can do it side to side. So in a corner, it can stall the outside and give the inside downforce. It's so rad. We're gonna go for some laps. Jack, the Lamborghini test driver, is in front of me. I hate lead follow. But because I don't know the car very well, because I've never been to this circuit before, I've got 8 laps here today. And because they just repaved the circuit, it's really slick, I can actually go faster with a lead follow than I'd be able to on my own. So I may talk while we're driving, I may not. This car requires a lot of focus to drive fast. So if I don't speak much, we'll talk on the cool down lap. Let's go. Let's do it, Jack. I'm in Corsa. You get full ALA in Corsa. In the other driving modes, it's sort of selective when the ALA comes on, but it's always on in Corsa, and you have a really neat little display in the front that tells you. Estoril is 13 corners. I think it's 4.1 kilometer circuit, so about 3.3 miles. And it's beautiful, and it's legendary, but it's slippery. So here we go with Jack in the lead. NAV12 FTW. Obviously, it's still all-wheel drive. Ceramic brakes. Woo, cold tires, slick track. Rear steer, which was launched on the S, really makes this thing rotate video will be on the shorter side, but here's what we're thinking. 515,000 base. It's like 550, 600 out the door. But 644 around the Nurburgring, and it takes some skill to do that. Like I said, the car does not just give it to you. But the things that we love about Lamborghini are here. The V12 sound, it's like an F1 car. It's better than an F1 car going down the front straight. It's amazing. The car's got a big old bag of balls. I mean, 280K down the front straight is moving. People were here on the Senna launch not long ago and said that this actually is faster down the front straight. The ALS does make it feel really stable in that high-speed kink, and does help keep it going straight under braking. They also use the rear steer to help keep that rear end settled under braking. It's really wild. It's really, really wild. And what it really makes you appreciate is how far Lamborghini has been able to take this platform since 2011 when it came out. I mean, the first Aventadors were not great driver's cars, and this is absolutely a driver's car. 100% driver's car. It's gnarly. And if you want gnarly, this is a great place to find it. I mean, I haven't driven GT2 RS, but 720S is so fast, but it's really easy. It's really, it makes you feel like magic. This doesn't feel like magic. This feels pretty race car-y, pretty raw. It moves around, and it does, it makes you really, really earn it. I've said that a few times. I apologize for repeating myself, but on this dusty circuit, it does get my heart rate going. It does make me want to focus and drive and get better. Downsides, it's expensive. Gearbox has slower than we're used to shifts. You can't see hardly anything out the rear window. It's pretty useless now. And it's still small. I'm glad that Lamborghini's not making us wear helmets, because if so, it would be very, very awkward and terrible. Also, if you care, the MMI system is still that 2008-9 era Audi system, and it's probably not good. So the end of the line for the Aventador, and they have really really kicked it with a bang, like it does when it shifts. Gnarly car, gnarly car. Thank you for watching. Read my article at Road and Track. I'll put the link in the description. I'll see you guys back in America. Bye.